Well, Toby, that was a pretty comprehensive second half performance.
Obviously we knew that the Blues pride themselves on their defence in particular. They're very difficult to beat and wear down, so we had to go through the process of doing that. And I think that to come home with wet sails, as it were, in the second half was really exciting to see, and good reward for how we prepared and the effort we put in during the game. So delighted about that.
Must have been really impressed with the way your forwards turned the screw and kept them pinned back in their own 22 for so long there.
Yeah, obviously that you build a lot of your performances on set piece, and obviously we were dominant in that area tonight, which is fantastic, and we should take a lot of solace from that, as it makes the game much easier to play on the front foot rather than the back foot. And we saw last week where we didn't get our own way in one half, the influence of set piece, and you saw the influence tonight of if you get your own way and consistently get your own way, you make yourself very hard to beat.
Did you ever think there was a bonus point coming, because Justin Tippett was pretty close at the corner and you were pounding away there?
Yeah. I mean, I think that obviously when we look back at that, there'll be much. I've just spoken to the TV about the exciting thing for me is this group was actually a little bit disappointed in relation to not being further ahead on the scoreboard, which shows that they want to grow and want to be better. And they're coming with a fantastic attitude to do that week in and week out. We are certainly much different to where we've been before, and this year we pride ourselves on consistency and effort, and we're doing that, and tonight we got the upper hand up front, which made that easier to do.
And behind the scrum, George North had one or two moments there?
Yeah, George is obviously playing a lot of good rugby. I thought he was very, very good, created some problems, and against good defences you need people that are going to break the game open. I thought he was good. I thought Reece Webb was very good around the fringes, created a lot of problems for people, and when you've got people like Kieran Williams and Stephen Myler to bring different threats and more consistency, if you're sitting behind the juggernaut, those things become easy.
Do you think Kieran Williams in with a shout of getting into Wales honours this year?
I think that he's a player that's got talent for sure. We're really pleased with how he's going. He's a young man who's obviously played some junior international stuff and done well there, and this is the next stage for him. He's learning about his game, and there's some rough edges that certainly need to be polished up, but again he represents this new era of young players that are going to come in and try and take the Ospreys forward, so that's the most exciting thing about that.
And onwards to the Dragons next week?
Yeah, Dragons obviously round 3. This is all new to me, so it comes thick and fast, and it's a fantastic thing. I think it'd be remiss of me not to mention how important to getting a win in the derbies are for our fans, and we're all disappointed that no one's in the stadium. I'm sure that's helped their hangovers from New Year's Eve, I hope, and I think they can be proud of their team tonight.
Absolutely. What about the fact, though, that this competition is ending a little bit earlier than planned, after I think it's 16 rounds, to allow the extra competition with the South Africans, which obviously is what the league organisers want, but on the other hand it prevents any of the Welsh sides having a chance at the playoffs in this particular league.
I think the difficult thing in that is, those decisions are made, well in advance and with the best intent. We can't control that. For me personally, obviously being new in this post, for us it's around, understanding what we are, embedding what we are, looking at what we've got, and getting certain cornerstones of our game in place, and you've seen some of those tonight, and that bodes well. So we'll see where that takes us. We can't control that. I know there'll be areas of disappointment, but there's also excitement about playing different teams in a different format.
Best win since you've been
here? Best win, probably.
Most significant.
Yeah, I think obviously if it's a derby, it's really important, and everyone knows how important derbies are. And I've had that basically it's tattooed on my forehead since I've been here. So, but I think that I think obviously winning in the last minute was very dramatic in previous games and bits and pieces, and we just, as I've spoken to you before, coaches work 7 days in advance and 7 days backwards, and those things, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, because we've got certainly no right or to do that, especially coming off the back of where we've been before. So yeah, it's certainly a win that we'll enjoy, and the boys are buoyant around that, and that gives us a chance to move forward.
And coming off the disappointment of last weekend, I thought that would have been a huge reaction.
Yeah, obviously from an outcome point of view, I know people will talk around that, but I think there was still an element in there where we could have released the stranglehold, and the most impressive thing was that we were more ruthless around not letting that happen, and that's shown learning from one week to the next. It's not always going to be that way, but we're learning, and that's important.